Aloha and welcome home, Jedi. This full moon gathering in Cancer. This is Jedi Master Lion checking in right now. Great to have you all here. Thank you for being here. Those of you that are here right now, and we'll have some more coming in into the field as we go through today. It was definitely last moment in today, a little last minute, but feeling the call. And so be here for the time that you can be here. Leave when you need to. Full sovereign expression of self in this space, in this round table. And I'm going to do is going to call in our protocol and principles, just set some, set the container and the energetics within the container, and then we'll open up into the field with the share, which in that share, basically today's call is really to get into a collaboration co-creative field and really sharing what we have available for 2023 that we are implementing and deploying, and it's ready to roll out here and now and throughout this year. As moving forward, as I said, in our protocol and principles, I'd like to call in the Aloha Spirit Law, which is our air Jed representation, and holding that pillar in that principle, the Aloha Spirit Law, with our 5 principles: akahai, kindness to be expressed with tenderness; lokahi, unity to be expressed with harmony; olu olu, agreeable to be expressed with pleasantness; ha'aha'a, humility to be expressed with modesty; and aho nui, patience to be expressed with perseverance. We're going to move then into our fire Jed agreements, our 4 agreements: to be impeccable with our word, to not make assumptions, to not take anything personally, and to always do our best. Then into our water Jed, practicing of our ho'oponopono. I apologize, I forgive, I give thanks, and I love. And then our 12 principles, the earth Jed, which are radical inclusion, consent, civic responsibility, leave it better than you found it, or leave no trace; radical self-expression, participation, radical self-reliance, immediacy, regeneration, gifting, each one teach one, and communal effort. So that's our Jedi just agreements on base level as we move into this. Is there any agent here present in this moment of now that is a nay to any of those agreements? Please say nay, and you're welcome to choose to listen or stay in. And all those in favor say aye.
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 Yo. Awesome. Wonderful. There's 6 of us here right now, and it's beautiful to come in that space. And right now, who's on my screen currently at the moment is Jedi Sister Anna. It's really beautiful to have her here today, just to kind of speak a little into it too, in the introduction, because her and I have been speaking about getting together on these full moon round tables. In the field of human design, we are both reflectors. And so if anyone knows a bit about human design, it's rare when you have 2 reflectors in a space where there's maybe 6 people like this. And so this is a time where I feel that, in my own experience, it's really a powerful time to come in because of the space that we can hold and to share out there in the collective field and the co-creative field of consciousness. And so I want to actually move the energy right into that, and maybe open up with Anna and Sister Anna to share a bit about. I love calling you Naturalista, so I'm gonna just, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
It's what it is. And she's here with so many beautiful things and offerings, and but to speak to some specifics, it's Regina Thrive is what's been really on that point, and where I see a lot of the alignment with who's here right now. So in the sake of efficiency with our time today, having her open up and speaking what Regenithrive is offering and deploying, and anything else that you'd like to feel. And we're going to want to sync up at about 5 minutes with our offerings as we move around in this table. Given that we can't necessarily see a circle, we're imagining we're in circle, and then for the sake of fun and play, we'll choose the next person after us to go ahead and share next after we're finished with our transmission. And when you're finished with your transmission, please end with whatever, an aho, an ashe, an amen, hallelujah, whatever that feels good to you, so that we know that we're here, and we'll respond that back to you, and that we have heard you and ready to move on. With that, opening up, Sister Natural Lisa, aloha.
Aloha and hallelujah. Thank you all for being present on this call. Thank you, Brother Jonah, for holding our council in space in this highest and greatest union for the greatness of all, and introducing Regenithrive in such a beautiful and honorable way. Regenithrive came to me as a divine assignment about 27 years ago, as I was leaving transitioning from the conventional finance system and recalibrating that with sacred economics, original principle, and all that I was known to be and raised with into this lifetime, and really bringing the awareness of the most regenerative, not just sustainable, that's a good start, yet regenerative and completely holistic in ways of technology, of infrastructure developments, which has always been my niche gem, and specifically in community infrastructure and systems that are most optimal for the culture, for the demographic, the geodesic climate, and that which is wanted rather than imposed. And so Regenithrive is the buffet, if you will, of the infrastructure development systems and offerings, technologies that bring us into highest and greatest alignment with nature, such that we are all in that regenerative and thriving space. And similarly, in your council, Regenithrive is based on the elements, whereby every element in nature is represented by an industrial application, and all of the variety of solutions that are available. And my life's work is completely devoted to supporting and bringing to greatest awareness and deployment globally those systems, inventors, and innovative systems that are, again, allowing us to live in highest and regenerative growth with nature, and also bringing Mama Gaia and all relative systems and animals and ecosystems and elements, and perhaps also all of the commodities related to that in highest resonance. Excuse me. So as it applies to everyone here now, and Jonah, to the Jedi Council, then Regenithrive is in complete open arms embrace and absolute service to support in any and highest, greatest capacity as possible. Aho.
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 Oh,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mahalo, sister. Thank you so much for that beautiful share. Yeah, the layout, speaking of the infrastructure and resources, and seeing how that beautiful overlap of working with the elements systematically and strategically, and how that lays over so obviously so many of the ways that we're building right now, because we're remembering what we're built on or built with. And I just really love how you've brought that together. And so thank you for that. Your share in Regenithrive, your work in that, and definitely welcome to the team. And that's Green Lion right now. So, I'm going to add into the game right now, actually real quick, just in that facilitation with your consent, because that's part of it, to just weave a little bit more in there, and in this ecosystem of right now working with the Earth Guardians, which we just opened up with, in infrastructure and resources, to kind of stay in that element together for a second, and connect. Are y'all good with me weaving in this way? Everybody say aye. Anybody that said nay, please say nay afterward.
aye.
Aye, feels aligned.
I say, All right. With that being said, I'd love to weave in Uncle Alika over here, Alika Tai, with Maui Third Wave. And Uncle Alika is leading and part of a massive movement and initiative in the Hawaiian Islands and all around the world that and bringing what I understand Maui Third Wave is really that ancient future that the indigenous original ancient ways of working and stewardship to the land, to the water, to everything. And then that being the first wave, and the second wave being the modern technology and the innovative solutions that we have, and the two of them tying together is essentially the third wave. And so Uncle Alika is definitely bringing forth a really powerful initiative here. And I think there's great connection with Regina Thrive and Maui Third Wave and possibilities. So Uncle Alika, aloha.
Aloha. Aloha, kako. Thank you. I really don't know. I'm just trying to catch up here. Jonah invited me to jump on this call, and I'm open. Very busy with a lot of multitasking of in a lot of different spokes, a lot of different directions. Everything we do is with a generational intent. We've come here with the foundation of our ancestral knowledge and ancestral wisdom from generations before us. And here we are in a position of trying to flip the current system and create what I look at as the aloha paradigm shift by turning everything over and upside down, because whatever's been going on ain't happening. And with that is to just create a whole new system. And that's going back to our future. In the issue here in the islands in Hawaii, currently we're climbing 92%, 95% of all food consumed does not even come from here. We don't have a relationship with the guy who grows our food. We don't even know who they are, what kind of food they are. But yet we're shoved this food that comes in on the barge to serve to our babies and our elders. We do know this, and it's not if, it's just when. When this natural disaster, when this earthquake, when this tsunami will hit our islands, or when this natural disaster or earthquake or the San Andreas Fault does choose to act, and no container ships come from the West Coast, nothing will be bringing us any of that 92 or 95% of the food to feed our people here in the islands. We know it's going to come. And we know we only have less than 6 days worth of food. What are we going to do about it now? And that's where we're at with the current situation of the demise. The last sugar plantation has finally shut down. It's been shut down for 5 years. The controllers of all of these agricultural lands are no longer in control. And we, the people, have this opportunity to getting back into growing food and medicine the right way to feed the good food to our babies and our elders. So we're in position, and we're putting ourselves in position to not only grow food and medicine, but to also grow our own homes. Here we are, we live in the islands every day, every week. A lot of local families born and raised here in the islands are coming to the decision of having to be displaced and leave these islands. mainly because there is no home for them. So through the process of growing hemp, we anticipate to be growing and building our own homes here in the islands. So, we intend to address all the needs and the issues that we have here in the islands, and I think very similar to those in other parts of the world that also are in the islands, such as Puerto Rico, Samoa, Saipan, and so on. So we're reaching out. I do a lot of podcasting with farmers in Jeju Island in South Korea who are very similar situation as us, relying on tourism, relying on farming and agriculture. So this is where we are today. And, I'm just sitting in here trying to figure out how do I fit in this circle of discussion, and what can we do to assist. I know we hear all these terminologies, regenerative, sustainable. For us, it's all connected to Aloha Aina. Aina is the land. Yeah. Interesting that in the word sustainable, in the very middle of that word is Aina. But yeah, thank you.
Mahalo, Uncle. I say that was a good mic drop right at the end, right there. So you fit in perfectly, and thank you for bringing that essence of Aloha Aina. To just really summarize up what it is that you stand so powerfully for in this community, and in this world, and from looking at it even from a governance standpoint too, and so I just want to bring that up, like that there's more, so many dimensions to Aloha Aina. And so I think there's maybe another time to bring you in, and this is how this works. Also, the beauty of it is we get to sit in different seats. So today, right now, you spoke to exactly why I brought you in, because I having you speak towards food and environment. So thank you for echoing that and bringing and standing and being a voice for our food and our environment here, on this planet. Mahalo.
Thank you, Jonah. I think there's another aspect that I probably went over and didn't mention, but a very critical aspect, critical part, and that is it is water. Yeah, the location of our source of water, protecting our sources of water. Here collectively on every island, I've asked the folks through the history of our chants, the history of our mo'olelo, our storytelling, we have identified the sacred springs or the vahipana, the sacred sites of the sources of water. We know that man, Kanaka, cannot live without water. So to move things forward, we must protect the sources, or most especially the sacred sites, or the spring water, or the spring points of the delivery of water. And so we have a committee that's being tasked to identify through ancient chants the locations and identities of these sacred sites. And I want to see them crossing the mapping into over the current TMKs of the government and identify the specific properties, and to see how we can gain access and control of those specific locations of those properties, because those are the properties that we must protect for future generations, they being the location of the sourcing of water.
Oloi kawai.
Oloi kawai. Water is life.
Say it, Brown. Mini wachoni.
Aho, mini wachoni.
It's and that's a beautiful segue right now because you literally brought up like we're gonna move from Earth Guardians right now into our water protectors, and I'd love to move it over actually into that space in this justice and protection. And another dear friend here, Alika, who's on the line, of course, and it's Brother Daniel Smith. So Jedi Daniel, want to bring it on up, just to bring you up to speed, sir. We're dropping in and in that seat of justice and protection, but you and what is 2023 look like, and what you're deploying out and rolling out for 2023 for yourself and our community and the world. I hope.
Oh, well, it's good to see everybody. Thank you, Alika, for that share. It's good to see you again. I am myself currently on Turtle Island, visiting family, and I'll be here for a few months. I'm excited to get in touch with some of the local advocates, activists, council, state people. There's a lot of people who have been active over here during the mandate period, standing for human rights, protecting what's protecting all of us underneath the law. So I'll be able to have a chance to meet with this group on the 14th. There's going to be an event at the convention center with a number of doctors attending to give us all an update on with I guess what the doctors are currently seeing as the most recent effects of the COVID the vaccine, or whatever they were calling it. And I'm sure amongst that group, I'll be able to see what else is going on with the local area. Speaking into what I can see regarding farming, it's a necessity just about worldwide. It seems that the effect of shipping across the world has been, I guess, infected by this globalist sort of network of shipping and trucking and these massive farming operations that are done in various locations. I think California is still one of the biggest producing big monocropping areas, and I was just learning about the billionaires who own that operation over there. And it just seems to be worldwide at this point, where billionaires are owning thousands upon thousands of acres, hundreds of thousands of acres of land, and they're legislating for control of the water for their own private corporations. And everything is about a water grab at this point worldwide. It will be getting to that point where water is worth more than oil, because as the Great Reset comes along, right, we're going to see different industries coming along already. There's a lot of talk from these other global research groups about different ways of energy propulsion and power use, and so it seems like things might be moving somewhat away from regenerative, hopefully into regenerative practices. I guess what I'm really excited about in this 2023 is a lot of this is already like becoming more well known, and there's an opportunity for us to create as much education as possible when it comes to true regenerative practices that are not going to keep destroying the world. Obviously, we can't keep doing solar the way we're doing it. It's one of the most destructive things that we're doing to this planet, and everyone thinks it's better than sliced bread, if you know what I mean. So we have to make sure that people are able to see the truth, and we can sort, it's going to take everything in order for this world to change. It's going to take everybody, and regenerative practices are number one. Farming, let's just go back to the ancient wisdoms. It's all of our ancient ancestors were sovereign in their land because they great agriculturalists. And also honoring the old laws as well. You know, I just came across the 42 laws of Ma'at, and even if we just took the one that says, not have I polluted the waters, not have I destroyed plowed land, right? Not have I caused iniquity, or, you know, all these wars for profit. And so what we're seeing, at least what I'm seeing right now, with all of our amazing groups, both on Maui and over here. I've been getting connected more with groups that are looking to resurrect proper law within the judiciary, within the upholding the constitutions, and actually, you know, get a wrangle so that we, the people of the world, can have control over our governments again. Because right now it's almost like a pirate has taken over the ship, and now they're just running it, you know, and we're all we're all being held captive in our own lands, on our own planet. You know what I mean? Having to just jump through all these hoops because someone has decided to make a profit and legislate against our rights. And I really feel it's time. There's as far as I see, there's a lot of moves happening this 2023 that are really exciting. So on all fronts, portion, both in land and water and building, and you know what I mean, everything. This world will be a brand new place that we can all benefit from. So yeah, that's my update. Love you guys. Soho.
Mahalo, brother. Aho. Aho. Yeah, just a little context too, briefly, and this is good practice for me in context because it's so good to talk about this. We're in this water space, water protection, you know, what took place with the water authority and putting together that. But just to speak to Daniel a bit for everyone, he was one of the first people that I met in moving to Maui and holding a very strong position and stance and protecting the community and standing for sovereignty and standing for freedom. And it's taken it to so many different levels on a governance level. I know we talk about government, but it's governance. And so he's now on the mainland, and it makes me think about somebody to connect you with. And I'm going to connect you all right now here. And hopefully Audrey is on the line. I'm going to check because I'm getting a call. I'm fielding some other things as we're speaking with other players coming in, just so that you know, it's also what's happening in this moment of facilitation. Let's go take a quick look. No, not yet. All right, let's stay here, but let's go ahead and actually move over to, speaking of what we just kind of went into, let's move over to Brother Aram, who also I had the pleasure to meet here at, was it the general? Yeah, it was actually the primary election, and at a Kaku radio station here on Maui. And Aram has a lot of amazing codes. One of the main things that I see it playing in so much role is technology and how our natural technologies work, how to gamify and make beautiful ways of interacting. And so he's sitting in the seat right now for science and technology, and as a focal point, and what that looks like for him and lay out and roll out in 2023. So welcome, Aram.
Mahalo, Brother Jonah. Yes, also, I guess I'm the yellow lion in the Voltron universe. I'm the big geek. So I'm from Maui, but I've blended technology and art and I guess nature from a young age with Nature Conservancy, being an Eco Action Club, and being a computer geek, video gamer. I'm taking a bunch of tools. I think I've been told in past life I was a blacksmith who didn't get to travel, and now I feel like I craft tools for our minds work better together. I have a lot of tools for us to share. I want to tackle everything that's being said around the principles of returning to a regenerative economy. The big huli is coming. Part of my message for my campaign, county council, was to low me the system. We want to low me the system that we have now before the big huli comes, and prepare ourselves on our personal level, on a family level, our neighbors, and understand that we are the system. And if the system is going to break, it's going to break all over us. And so that is part of my practice, is first making sure that I am a sovereign, safe human being and my loved ones are cared for, but also seeing how I can amplify that out. I want to launch a few things this year. I'm actually doing a writer's retreat for myself before I do a Lomi training at Popomana at the end of the month. So I'm writing 2 books. One is called The Art of Synthesis, how we use visual frameworks and metaphors to give ourselves a canvas for thinking together. I will show you a couple examples of that. The idea here is to create macroscopes, instruments for seeing the big picture. So I have a few examples of that. I'm also writing a book called A Young Alchemist's Guide to Shaping the World. And that, again, is this nested view of what are the tools as a human being to shape my own physical body, my mental, spiritual, emotional health. How do I shape my relationships to make sure that I'm in right relationship with the people around me? And how do I shape the world, potentially with stories, understanding the myths, understanding the big players, because as Brother Daniel mentioned, there are huge bodies, huge money. And I do think a big shift is shifting from this capital economy to a relational economy. And the sacred economy is really about reciprocity and doing things that we don't need to put on the books because we trust each other, because we know each other. So I'm going to switch over to my my laptop and share a screen for a moment, just to give you a quick little tour, like just imprints. Oh, Jonah, are you able to give me screen sharing for a moment? This will bring some things to life, if possible. If not, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay.
I was picking up what you're putting down. Let's see.
Okay, while Jonah's doing that, I also take visual notes. This is not going to come in focus. All right, here we go. So, 안녕하세요. Actually, I'm really curious about Uncle Lika's experience in Jeju Island. I've been there. I speak okay Korean. I spent 3 years in Korea, so I'm really curious about Korean natural farming. What else? Big Pirate Energy. That was for you, Brother Daniel. Yeah, a big influence of mine is Buckminster Fuller and this idea of livingry, which is the opposite of weaponry, the technology for sustainable living systems. And his book, one of his books, is all about the pirate metaphor, the secrets, and just the secret structures that have led to our current system. All right, not to divert, I'm going to show you
Yellow Lion. I think you're good to go here.
Okay, awesome. All right, I'll share some links in the chat, but I'm going to share my entire screen just to open up, as Alika mentioned. All right, so this is a website. It's a Google site. It's Maui Mind Academy. It's been around for, it's been a hologram for a while. I've taught 1 in-person class, and I do a lot of online teaching. And I just, everything I'm doing is somewhat in this context of vocational training for this time that we're in as system change catalysts. So how do we train the next generation to empower them to be storytellers, to think critically, to be creative, to be empowered with technology, to use it, not to be abused or consumers of technology. So these are some principles. This is the path that I'm guiding from developing a literacy in technology or a new tool, fluency through play, and then eventually mastery. So again, these are all frameworks. There's a bunch of frameworks, but the 3 elements are the prism or the hologram is media arts, which is critical thinking and creative expression. So how do you get stuff on Instagram or TikTok? How do you spread your message on YouTube? The Systems Change Lab is really about the process, which is about design thinking and systems practice with a bioregional lens, a place-based approach. Maui Nui is very, 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 very precious. And so we have this as an orientation wherever we are, to respect the land, respect people who were on the land before us, and understand how we relate to this place. And then there's a baseline underlying thing, which is, I guess, one of my main gifts to share with groups here is collaborative technology. How do we use Google Sites? How do we use all the tools? I've been playing a lot with the AI, and it's kind of exciting. Like, there's a little bit of fear, but a lot of creative potential. I've also created a macroscope, hopefully this loads, for Maui Nui. This is a work in progress. I was at the opening ceremony, and this is my like workspace sketchbook for like what it could be to have a more transparent, visually facilitated space that people could watch in tandem with watching a council meeting, because I think those meetings go on for a long time. There's a lot of ways of optimizing it. But this is just me sitting in the room on my laptop. So Junior Nakoa was testifying on everything on that first meeting. So I took some quotes from him. He was like, "No, listen to all these dumb lawyers, too many lawyers." I fed this to the AI to create a comic, political comic for us. So that's just like some little lightness, incorporating technology in a way that helps bring out things that you might have missed if you weren't in the room. It was really interesting to see Tasha Kama take the chair, and the first thing she did was to say, "We're going to reorder the schedule," and everyone was like, half of the room was like no, and half the room was like yes. And what does that mean as we wait for Alice Lee or Noelani to join the council? So that was interesting. This is the idea of a macroscope that I created for Teach STEM in Hawaii. So there is a downward energy, it's kind of top-down leadership, and a bottom-up energy, kind of grassroots. And we are in the middle. There's a container. And this example is the university system, the UH system, which is pretty kind of politically jammed up. They're run by the state legislature. There's the Department of Education, which is a statewide thing. So it flows around this way, counterclockwise in a circulation, starting with having maybe clarity of vision, but maybe a lot of confusion. That's where we have failed leadership. Let me zoom in for you. So systemic clarity unlocked through uniting vision and epic goals. If that's a yes, through this portal, we have a clear mandate. Management knows how to operate. It has the right tools, the right capabilities, the right resources. So that's the pool of resources. Yeah.
I want to pause you real quick just to be succinct with our time.
Yeah.
Definitely
Sure.
quite a bit. I love what you're sharing, and there's so much to uncover here, and to honor everybody in the space, because we have a 90-minute window right here.
Thank you
Yes,
for checking me. This is all
Yeah,
available.
for sure.
Mahalo.
I'll say it, bro. Thanks again. No,
Yeah.
as you see, everyone, right? I say the technology, and we can go in and all of this areas, deep dives into it. The purpose of these calls when we roundtable up is to get a feel for each other, to have an opportunity to drop in, as well as share kind of an intro to our community at large. And then from there, we're going to want to sync up into these teams. So like Brother Aaron was sharing, the Yellow Lion, the Air Purifier team, the Water Protector team, and the Earth Guardian team. And so we get a voice of fire into this space right now. Next person I'd like to bring into it is, let's go with Kether, who's actually Eric. Well, Eric's not in the space right now. So switch that. I might go over, we're going to stay in water actually, and bring in Rabbi Ranan, because I know you have kind of a small window here, brother. And thank you so much for showing up and today. And let's go and move on over to you, just to give you a little bit of context, succinct into 2023. What are you envisioning for yourself, for the community, for the world in 2023, and what's deployable for you in 2023? What are you rolling out for the world? Aho, Ashe.
Wonderful. Thank you for the invitation to say some words. I would like to bring a blessing from our community, the Jewish congregation of Maui, to everyone here, that they may have a healthy and happy new year. So my focus for years now has been interreligious dialogue. I believe that dialogue is at the core of how we're going to be able to heal as a people and grow. Of course, I refer back to Martin Buber's I and Thou and the necessity to create relationship as an imperative beyond all. And so the question would come to me as to how can we in 2023 develop relationships to encourage the I and Thou, to encourage our growth as a community so that we can be as productive as possible in facilitating change. So, you know, I'm here for that. I believe that it's all about getting together and having these conversations, you know, whether they be on Zoom or in person. It's just so important, and it's the reason why I'm very thankful and happy to be here today, sharing some words with you. Perhaps I'll share something from the weekly Torah portion, the Torah being the Old Testament, and we go through 53 different parts of it throughout the year. And you know, when you read deeply into the portion that we're at, and that's at the end of Genesis, it looks as though our forefathers and foremothers have failed. Jacob, our forefather, is in the land of Egypt. He's not in the Holy Land. Whatever was promised to Abraham is not happening. And yet, it's through that brokenness and that perception of complete, you know, difference than the dream that was once dreamt, that the Israelites were able to be born, that Egypt functioned as the womb for the rebirth of our people. And so in many ways, you know, Egypt in Hebrew means narrow-mindedness. So I would extrapolate and say that we live very much in a consciousness of narrow-mindedness that we also must experience an exodus from. Our people talk about how every Passover we are mandated to think that we too are like slaves coming out of Egypt. And we need to experience that, we need to live that. And I would bless all of us to see ways that we together can dialogue, come together, exit out of a paradigm of narrow-mindedness and into a paradigm of freedom and of blessing and of new beginnings. Thank you.
Oh, mahalo, Rabbi Renan. Thank you so much for that blessing. You know, you really hold, you know, sort of context and introduction to, and I'm in a lot of practice field right now in full transparency, right? It's like coming in, I really want to honor and represent well. And what I know of Rabbi Renan is he's been a freedom fighter and a peacemaker, you know, for the majority of his life, and has given his life to that. And he does it in so many beautiful ways and weaves a lot of this sacredness with and spirituality with humor and with you know, in good relations. And that's all I see is him in good relations and being such a stance and frequency of peace. And that just aligns us too, and coming back that what I'm seeing and holding in the space together right now, and that we're holding together as Jedi, is that we are an ecosystem of peacemakers here on this planet now, you know, and that we're coming together in this way to, in all of the pieces, to actually realize and manifest peace on earth. To manifest peace, love, unity is the mechanism of how we actually get here and bring in heaven and earth realized for all people and all beings and all sentient life. And so to move forward in that flow now, I want to kind of light a fire here because you brought up some cultural beautiful things in there. And so to represent sitting for our art and culture place, I'd like to introduce Brother Russell, who will be here on Maui soon, which I'm excited for, and here in person in the physical. But Brother Russell Feingold and I met in a large convergence of change makers and agencies and people and representing large initiatives, projects. And it was a great time to bring what I was holding, justice and protection, together with art and culture. And he really, really stands for and represents that in such a sacred, beautiful way, and cultivates that also on a daily basis. So welcome, Russell. Aloha.
Aloha, brother. I knew I was going to go right after the Rebbe. And I had to take a call right in the middle of that. And I'm like, I barely heard what you said, but I got enough of your vibe. And Yeah, it's an honor to be here. Thank you, brother, for having me. And opposite of Brother Daniel is I'm actually on Turtle Island. I've been here for a while, and I'll be making my way to sacred lands that most of you are on right now. I've been spent a little bit of time on Hawaii making relations, and Hawaii's been good to me, and I'm grateful to be able to return. And it's been actually many years in coming to return to the islands, and just seems very auspicious. And Jedi Master Lion, I made it wasn't like we made a sacred connection. There was a sacred connection we just realized, which I'm sure is what we're all doing here. And just the songs of our souls were just in a beautiful harmony. And every moment that we speak or commune, there's just magic. And that's so much of what art and culture is. It's just tapping into the magic of life. I think we're all activists. I'm at this point in my life, I'm very much an inward activist, very hermetic in my ways. And during this last few years, been very, very inward, I don't call it a hiatus, but a deep dive inward, in a deep regroup of myself and how I want to be in the world in these massive changes. And I've just, within the last 6 months, especially, made a resurgence back in the world and finding a more relevant voice to how I can really be, and just really speaking very much as a white man, also as a spiritual teacher and also medicine carrier. So many white men have spoken, and how can I make space, and what is the voice that I can actually have as I've really deepened and really worked with understanding what privilege really is, and how can I best serve this as a gift and not as a liability, which leads into really what my work in the world is. We all have these spiritual shoes that we fit in so perfectly. And my greatest gift in the game is in emotional healing. So in the realm of the healing arts, also musician, sound healing, but all relates to healing, and specifically the healing of the human heart. That's where I've really spent most of my life. Always been sensitive as a child, and just my greatest gift is my sensitivity, being able to feel the roots of dysfunction, the roots of wounding, the roots of the conditions in which we find ourselves individually and culturally. So I'm a tracker, and that's really be able to feel and be aware of, again, the roots of any wound in any system, whether it be a human system or business system. It's all energetic systems. And where's it rooted from? So working for almost 3 decades in integrative health and helping people to heal on the fundamentally, it's all connected, but fundamentally emotional level, which roots into like how are we making decisions in this world? What drives our behavior? And so much of it is coming from a very wounded, shut down place. And it's so obvious. One of my big sayings, like, it's not subtle at all. The more sensitive we are, the easier to feel. And I'm preaching to the choir here, but this is really just sharing where I'm coming from and how we've become so desensitized and out of touch with each other and what's real and true. We've really lost our way as a global culture. To even understand that, water is life. What I help people with is to feel, to unobstruct, to let the heart thaw, to be able to feel that intimate relationship, the living relationship of our hearts and our souls with water, with fire, with earth, with the elements, with Mother Earth herself, and with the Creator. So I'm a ceremonialist and facilitate ceremonies, and I spent a lot of time down South America on Heart Island. Been walking the shamanic path for almost 3 decades, and as a quote unquote gringo shaman, as someone coined that phrase, very much endeared me, starting on the Red Road. I'm also a member of the Choctaw Nation, and really one of I feel just the walk in my dharmic walk is to really bring the medicine back to the people, undiluted, spending a lot of time studying with indigenous elders and wisdom keepers and medicine people. So that's really what I seek to do, is to really help people to restore safety ultimately. And really that comes from the healing of trust. And that's been so compromised through all aspects, really all aspects. I mean, especially in like the legal system. It's like, wow, that was supposed to protect us and to serve us. The majority of it has been so turned on its head, and our authority structures have become so compromised that we don't even know who and what to trust, again, as a global culture. So it's an honor to be here with all of you and really getting a feel for the shoes each of you are walking in. And it's just so humbling to be able to work together. One of my greatest values is collaboration, which is where Brother Jonah and I sing such beautiful music together. So I look forward to getting to know you, getting to know you all, and seeing what magic we can create together. Oh.
Oh, mahalo, brother. Thank you very much for that beautiful share. Yeah, just the ceremonialist aspect and just such the space that you carry, and looking at what I really love about what you weaved in right now too, with everything is coming into a space of healing, and there's a lot of energy around, the unity and the collaboration, as you said. And in order for us to collaborate, we need to do some deep healing, with ourselves individually, collectively, all the way with it. And I think that's really such a beautiful place to be. So bringing that intention, that essence into now, and it's a great segue over to who just was able to get on the line. And I'm excited was able to make it and arrive just in time. And that's Sister Audrey, who I met and had the honor to meet through Jedi Field, and what she holds as just being such a matriarch and, a powerful woman of culture. And I say that instead of looking at it from so much a woman of color, but a woman of culture. And she is going to be holding the seat and sitting in the seat of governance and sovereignty right now. And how I see sovereignty is really freedom. And Audrey and I started working and collaborating on a movement with some others here, and in general for a movement of Trails to Freedom, which I feel has such the essence of healing souls of America, which is, kind of one of the many projects and things that Audrey has brought forward in offering and supporting the healing of people. And so that, I'd love to pass it over you to Audrey to share what's present for you, what 2023 is looking like and rolling out for you, what you're deploying, what you're sharing in that. And so bringing us up to speed so we know how we may be of support.
Well, thank you, Jonah. I apologize for being so late getting on. I found out about this meeting a couple hours ago. Greetings to everyone. I greet you with love from my heart to your heart. I rarely say no to Jonah. If he calls, I do my best to say yes. He's someone I have a great deal of respect for. To continually come back after failure and disappointment and mistakes, and continue to come back to do this work, it's only for one reason, that you're called, and you can't do anything else. And so that, I see that in you, Jonah. I know that's who you are. And so you just asked a lot. You have no idea, Jonah, what I've been through, and I'm just going to go with what you asked me. So I came face to face with death last year. I've been on this spiritual journey since 1986. I pretty much have followed guidance as far as I knew what guidance was telling me. What I love to do is bring people together who believe that they're different, because healing happens when we do that, when we come together and we're able to sit with and pray with and dance with people who we think are different. That's only one of the things I've done, but I've had an exciting life. I've lived in Africa, but I got kicked in my ass. I was down and I felt totally abandoned, totally abandoned. My son, I'm almost 70, so at my 65th birthday party, my son, who's now 47, when he made his toast, he held up a glass and he said, "This glass for my mother is always half full." She never sees the glass half empty. Well, let me tell you, he can't say that anymore because I wasn't even able to see the glass. I wanted to die. I wanted to die. Every morning when I woke up, I was hospitalized for 5 weeks. Every morning when I woke up, I was angry because I wanted to die, because I was in so much pain, physical pain. I've had multiple operations, many illnesses that I've worked through over the years with shamans, et cetera, et cetera. This one made no sense to me. I had just lost 50 pounds. I thought I was something tough. I was riding a bike, I was walking. I was doing everything I was supposed to do, including this freaking liquid diet. And I end up in the hospital in so much pain, treated like I have never been treated before, inhumanely. What I want to tell you is I came through that. I came through that with a deeper understanding. I came through that knowing that the choice to live was mine. I came through it knowing and seeing exactly where we are today and what we must do. And so if you had asked me a year ago, did I have anything else to learn? Did I have any more growing to do? I would have said yes, but it would have been yes. I had a lot of growing to do. I had a lot of stuff to let go of. It's hard to believe that since 1986 and all the therapy and all the ceremonies and all the shamans, I still had emotional wounds that was blocking my truth. I still had scars from previous lives, experiences that I had not let go of. But it was the decision to stay here and the understanding that I had completed that first agreement. What I agreed to do when I came into this parenthesis in 1953 had been completed. So it was up to me to say that I am willing to learn and to step into whatever I'm called to do today. And so if I'm on this call with you, I see each and every one of you as anointed. I see each and every one of you as called. I know it's not by mistake. Healing is necessary, but often healing happens when we gather, when we tell our stories, when we hug, when we dance, when we embrace. My healing can help you heal and vice versa. We are called together. But more than anything else, there is a major shift in consciousness. And I know all of you know that, and we know the words. But my friends, my brothers, my sisters, beloved, we have to start living those words. Everything that we know about truth, we have to step there and step and don't look to the left and don't look to the right. Because see, we know truth. We know truth, but we're not living it. And it doesn't matter how much truth we know. Right now, we are needed on a global scale. There's an opportunity for each and every one of us to join together with the intention to uplift all of humanity. I see a forgiven world. I see a healed world. I see a world where no one goes to bed hungry. A completely different political situation, but that takes a different level of consciousness, and that's in being. In other words, we be the light. We don't have to open our mouth. We don't have to do anything to bring the light. But if we do open up our mouth, if we do say something, if we're standing in the light and refusing to look to the left or the right, that light has the power. Thank you so much for giving me these few moments. I bow to each and every one of you. God bless you.
Shade.
Oh, thank you.
No, Sister Audrey. So once again, I want to just say so much gratitude. Thank you for coming in last minutes, and such short notice. And I love you and respect you so dearly. And I want to also acknowledge and say sorry for not being there more for you in this last year too, and the health, and just to show up for you, and part of the culture that I see us co-creating, that we are co-creating, is one that we can acknowledge when we have made mistakes. We forgive ourselves so we can show up for that and be able to say that and come to it and be able to go through a practice of healing, right? Because that's how we can start healing. If I didn't say this to you right now, how do we start the healing process and to come back into alignment, into harmony, to be able to move forward together, you know? And I know we have a lot of work to do together. We already have, and there's more to do. And so being in alignment with one another, to be healing our relations, and to hold truth and light with one another and hold each other in that light. So thank you for showing up today, you know, in all of that. And, you know, to build some context into this for everyone, you know, I recently, you may all know that we have Elon Musk is going to be running for president in 2024. We can have all whatever comes when I bring that information to in the hearing and what comes into that. But Audrey ran for president twice, and if she ran again, I would vote for her. You know, and that's the level of which I believe in her and what she stands for this country, for all nations. You know, and both the healing and the representation to be in this, in the true, what I feel into is Mama Africa. And so thank you, Audrey, for being that and being a grandmother to all of us, and to me, and one that I don't know and never met my grandmother. Mahalo. And she keeps me accountable too. If I ain't shaped up, she's real quick to keep me accountable. And that's what we need from our grandmas, you know? So, love Elba, keep us rolling right here. We're making great time. Everybody has shared. Hopefully Eric is in the building. He's going by the name of Kether right now. He works directly with Kether, which is been the steward and facilitator of an incredible educational program, just kind of pioneering homeschool, but not necessarily from just like a parent schooling their child, but parents schooling the children of the community. And has built such a beautiful ecosystem here on Maui, that we still have that. It's very strong to the point it's now ready for expansion and growth, and is a model that can be scaled and has experiential data to go along with it. And so Eric probably speak to that more, but Eric, are you in the building right now? Can you give me an eye if you're available? We're actually in the same building, so I can go look for him if he's not.
Hi, beautiful people. Yes, I am. I apologize. I'm trying to do 7 things at once. And I hope to listen back to this because I want to hear everything everyone has to share. Thank you. Thank you for the space here. I definitely don't want to speak for Kether, even though I'm showing up as Kether on here. But yeah, we're in a very pivotal choice point, it feels like. Kether has created something that's been going for the past 23 years over 3 islands, and that is building community that is perpetuating Waldorf values, focused more on holistic spiritual consciousness for our children, as well as creating the community and the attention to reinvigorating Hawaiian culture and honoring Hawaiian culture, honoring the land, cultivating the land. And I've joined forces with her for the past 1.5 years, and I'm very excited for what I hope to be us moving into a resource center that opens up to the community, opens up to our brothers and sisters beyond the homeschool. And so it's been an interesting journey just figuring out how to do that, how to reach out. I feel like we teeter the line of how to be like almost guerrilla, you know, how to do things ethically, but also try and chart our own course, you know. Have looked into going the PMA route, have looked into just alternate ways of planting our flag, and trying to rise to the occasion of creating the new. So that's where we're at right now.
Oh,
Indeed. Sorry
thank you,
about that.
no, it's all good, right? It's all part of the how we move through and learning, right? Education and learning, and sitting in that seat. Just, I really appreciate again the level of immediacy. I was here today, and as all of you know, I mean, these came through quickly, which is not what I desire to be happening. I would love for us to be meeting consistently on full moons moving through this year. And that doesn't mean every time, right? It's like popping in. Think of it as a social mixer. But the more often that we do show up to each other, the more consistent we are, the more strategy, the more coherence, the more of the actual community that we have. And this is what really focusing in on to spin it back around to where we are right now is, in a beautiful community with the next generations here, and what that looks like and how we can really be all supporting that. That's what we're all doing in all of the work. And so I guess I'm the last one in the circle right now who's on today. I'm gonna speak for the couple people that weren't able to make it, that did message in that they were not able to. Sister Laura Ahava, been on a call before. She was going to represent health and wellness, and to just share a bit about Laura, what she's been bringing forth is really looking into how health and spirituality, meditation, creating a health center. So we're coming back into that healing space, and so really holding a stance or a vision for a healing center here on Maui that is rooted in these ancestral knowledge. Wisdom is the best way to put it. It's experiential, and that's about all I want to say to that, because I think it's important for us to always speak in our own space. Then the other person is Jordan Larson, who's going to come, which he is health and wellness would be the last Earth Guardian seat. And then in the air purifier seat, we have in the media and communication, I invited Jordan Larson, who's part of a group that has been working on a project called Civilization Explorer, which is a interactive app technology that will map particular regions all around and allows for a co-creation of projects and initiatives that build a really fun gamified experience. And so looking at media, how can we gamify, or how can we utilize our media and our communication to call in our youth, to meet them where they are at? So many of them are using their devices, they're on them, all the different social medias, this and that medias. So how can we meet them where they're at to get them actually back reconnected in right relations with nature, with themselves first and foremost, with nature, the human nature, and then work together collaboratively for what's needed on this planet at this moment. So those are the intros to those two others in the seats. If I were to just represent them, and then they'd be speaking right now. And for myself to close us out in the here and now, I'll take, what does that leave me with? Nothing but the center point. And that's really where I'd like to say that my goal in this implementation and deploying out for 2023 is to support the connection, the networks, the creation and collaboration of the many organizations and people out there doing this work, enjoying life, celebrating it in ceremony and in sacredness, and sacrificing themselves, and sacrificing means making sacred, in that way. And self-mastery is the setup and really step into fullness as Jedi, is to create an ecosystem of people willing to work together, willing to do this good thing in cooperation and collaboration, to co-create and to stay consistent, and that we commit and come into a space for a year. And if we do that for a year, what that can look like. If we can do it for 3 months, what that can look like, and take it seasonally. You've all gone in a little bit around and heard me talk about the Earth Guardians, water protectors, air purifiers, and fire keepers as the quadrants in that. Those are the quadrants and the foundations of the Jedi Alliance, which is all of us in this round table together as one team. It allows for us to self-organize, to plug and play, whether we're learning, teaching, sharing, working together, but what projects align. So I built the system for simplicity, for the complexity that is apparent in our world, and so that we can come in and have basically what I would call an incident command system. This comes from how fire departments work on a global level to be able to respond and mitigate chaos. Chaos is innovation happening, and we're all innovating right now. To update you a bit on what's innovating here on Maui, another invite that I put out there and I want to bring into the space is there's new administration is happening right now all around the world. But on Maui, for instance, the new administration is bringing forth a Department of Innovation for Maui County. I think that this is a leverage point for groups such as us to come in and to be able to share what we are deploying and implementing on both a local and global scale, and to work with the public sector and private sector so that we are all working in cooperation, and there's no longer any separation between those two, but rather just the unification of all of us as one team. Different modes, roles, responsibilities, and kuleana. And this is the anchoring and foundations of what I have started, 8 years ago now, and see it as a way of implementing and deploying real live solutions that we have here and now, and the training that goes along with that. So we need to train our people. We need to go through the readiness of what needs to be deployed so that we can deploy people and so that we can deploy technology. That is the role and responsibility of the Jedi Academy, is the training. The Jedi Alliance is essentially the deployment of the people and the technology. So to be clear as to why I'm calling all of you here is to continue to build that system out of the people that are in this work, so we can collaborate, connect, support each other upon what we're doing, and realize heaven on earth. I'm gonna look over now to a special guest who just showed up here. Since we're in there, and look at what we got is Stephen Calkins, Jedi Stephen over here. This brother I've been working directly with for pretty much since COVID lockdown happened, in programs around food security and food sovereignty, recognizing the intimate aspects of what's happening with our food and our industrialization thereof, and coming into more sustainability and regenerative practices. And not only the food, but really getting into community building and supporting our community that are in need of houses, that are in need of food, and how do we bring people into a more contributional energy and participate in what we are all speaking to and what we are all seeing and desiring to speak to, and that is really a community of peace, of love, of unity, of freedom, and what it is to participate in that, and how we can all just be in one circle. So, Stephen, anything that you would like to share that's present for you for deploying out what you're seeing for 2023, what you're going to be implementing in 2023. Maybe speak a little bit about whether it be Paladin or Cosmic Cultivations or any programs there in your sphere that you're working on, and so we know about you, how we can support you in 2023. I hope.
Mahalo, Jonah. I'm actually out delivering meals right now, so I don't have a bunch of capacity to speak for an extended time. But yeah, appreciate you inviting me here. I'm just joining, so sorry I didn't get to hear anybody else's ventures. Yeah, I guess what's present is just the way that we communicate with our medicine, and whether that be food or water or energy. Medicine comes in all different facets, all different forms, and I think now more than ever, it's really important to cultivate a relationship with all facets of medicine, and really focus on supporting individuals and communities to align with the same timeline. Jonah and I talk about the timelines a lot, and how we can support and understand the different timelines that we kind of get stuck in, and how to get unstuck and really work through the timeline of unconditional love through the heart sphere, through that certain vibration, that certain frequency. I like to think of it as like the 639, the heart frequency, and yeah, just really trying to put into practice. I mean, it starts with ourselves, so really just trying to put that into practice in my own world, in my own life, and really doing everything from heart center and radiating out from there. I think that's really the most important part. Unfortunately, I'm going to be a zone here where I'm not going to be have too much reception, so I'm going to just leave it there and listen from now on. Appreciate it, guys.
Ashe. Aloha, brother Stephen. Thanks for the coming in, man, and sharing in that. I just wrote a quick message to him in that share of sitting in the space of Paladin. What I want to share around this, if I had the art piece right now, we'd be looking essentially at the ecosystem that I shared from both the protocol, the principles, and all of these sectors in the wheel of co-creation that Barbara Marx Hubbard gifted us in her life's work. And in all of these sectors, in the middle of that is it would be a character, a player known as a paladin or a pilot, a champion of a noble cause. And so to look at that adds in a last bit, and this is going to be the offer end for some homework as we play together, and this is how you should choose to continue to play together in this sandbox, in this playa. So this, as players, I'd like for us to go in, and there's a discovery, self-mastery tool that called Zion, or Mount Zion, which is an acronym for Mastering Transformation of the Zodiarchetypal Initiations of Nature. And essentially, we're basically just looking into our own nature and our human design, our gene keys, our Mayan astrology. Aaron just brought in some lunatic wave spells and working with the energies of the Mayan calendar, Aztec, and getting into natal chart and looking at our kind of star systems, if you will, learning of self, how we can work with our own individual strategies as the character and avatar we're flying around in bodies and Merkabas, and then also to look into how that looks from a team aspect, and reshaping and reconfiguring around that to hopefully become more efficient and strategical, and really able to be not only efficient but proficient. So this is where the training comes in, and I know I have so much that I get to continue to learn from each and every one of you and in my own life and experience, and I have much to teach and share as well. And that's the nature of what we'll be doing, you know, in the academy and in the alliance, is really just a transfer of wisdom through experience, and to be on this path together. So moving into next week, I will be this full moon starting us off into this year. Next week, I'm going to be meeting with the water protectors on Monday, being a moon day. So the water protectors will come together on Monday. Ideally, I'd like the teams to choose into what time they would like to come together and sink in, and then I would navigate into that space and holding. Right now, I'm going to call in the time and keep it at 12 for the time period until I hear otherwise from teams. So water protectors are on Monday. We're going to go with air purifiers on Tuesday. Just to speak to it, water protectors is either you're coming in with water, you're coming in with justice and protection, governance and sovereignty, relations and peace building is our water protector team. Tuesday is our air purifiers, which will be our science and technology, our economics and business, and our media and communication. We'll meet on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we'll be meeting with the Earth Guardians, that are around Earth, health and wellness, infrastructure and resources, and food and environment. So our Earth Guardians will be meeting on Wednesdays, and then on Thursdays will be our fire keepers. Our fire keepers, arts and culture, education and learning, and spirituality and religion. So our fire keepers will be on Thursday. Definitely reasoning around why it's currently laid out like it is, and I'm still we're open to reconfiguration because we're always co-creating together. But I want to start off and give us some foundations to build upon on this day as we move forward into this year together. And we'll create, I'd love to work directly with you, Aram, and maybe we could use Geneva or another app space, but that could work really, really well for continued communications and onboarding in this way. And we can weave in our other ecosystem that we have with our education and learning here on Maui. So we'll create a space to communicate on a daily basis, or if information that we just want to share with one another, and then use those days to pop in and to continue to strategize with one another moving forward. So with that, I'm going to complete and close down the bit of transmission there and open it up. Any questions, comments, and we have 5 minutes in this window, and we're going to have a hard stop at 1:30 today, and honoring all people's time, including those that will be watching this to drop in with us in the future. Oh.
Thank you, Jonah. I'm looking forward to seeing and praying with you this space. I see your symbol. I think, yeah, thank you for offering the structure and letting us fill these many cups.
Mahalo, brother. Thank you. Yeah, I see your work too. There's a lot of beautiful stuff we get to play with, so we're going to get in there together. So much love, and thank you for showing up today and making time for today. And that goes for all of us in this room right now. thank you all so much for literally being here and now, for your presence, for your gifts, for your service. May we continue to serve together and weave together, and know that, like, as a firefighter, I'm open 24/7, you know, for our community. That's the level of which brotherhood, sisterhood, and community that I want to be a part of, and continue to work directly with our as communities like this that are showing up, and that we're ready to show up sometimes at the in hours, yeah, or when we hear the tones go off. And that's what I see here in this room right now, is that you all responded to the tones. You responded to a call. And right now, that call is coming from Mother Earth. She's calling us home. And so as we come home, we do this good work together. I enjoy and look forward to celebrating life here. You know, so let's celebrate and let's enjoy, have a good time. And again, any questions, comments, let it be here. And may we all come together as one. Aho me takoyasi.
I just got one thing to add to everybody. And that's just a reminder to take care of ourselves and to help teach others, like our children, how to take care of themselves. It's so important, especially for all the work that we do in the world. It's easy to give of ourselves so much to everything else, and to abandon self in a lot of ways. And just remember how important it is that health is first, and we got to take care of number one first. Without that, we got other people taking care of us. So I want to make sure, I just been around a lot of elders lately, and I want to be one of those 80-year-olds doing pull-ups, you know what I mean? Walking, jogging, you know what I mean? Like, be sure that self-care piece is there, and make sure you give it to yourself every day. Love yourself every day. And because that's how we're going to do this. You know, this whole earthly change here that we're all working on is definitely a marathon, and it's probably the longest marathon of mankind. So be sure to give to yourself and do it first.
Jedi tip of the day right there. Thank you for that, Danny. We're going to add those to our calls. The end, we should always we'll leave it. We'll end with a nice Jedi tip of the day, right? Stay healthy, y'all. Stay healthy, and know we got healers all around us. Yeah, so if we need any support in that realm, reach out. I have a long background in that, in my myself, and definitely could help in that. I'm 85. I know I look good, so see y'all out there. Eternal souls. Peace, love, and bananas, family. Aloha.